Right. So now we're going to be introducing to you guys to chapter 6. So what chapter 6 entails is going to be the different types of reports that you guys are going to be looking at, as well as understanding what's the difference if you do a report versus cash basis or accrual basis. Other than that, and then we're going to be looking at the difference between accounting reports and business management reports. So there are two different areas. And lastly, we're going to be looking at how to build our graphs and how QuickBooks can be able to make those graphs for us, so we don't have to do that. I may have some time to touch upon building custom reports and memorizing reports, but if I do not, I would like for you guys to read on your own. They're pretty straightforward when it is customizing, like, if you want the customizing, meaning like you want the colors changed, the formatting to look different, or maybe to show specific pieces of information. That's all it is. And memorizing reports is, if this is a report that you produce every month or something, every week, you can memorize the way, the style when you customize it. So then every time you build another one, you can pull up that file immediately. Okay, straightforward. And then, yeah, the rest are pretty straightforward. They're extra things that you don't really need to really know. But for the main core of this, I want to focus on the different types of reports that we have and understanding the cash versus accrual. Okay, so as you watched me earlier, I went ahead and pulled up the reports file that we have here in our classroom files. So, learning the different types of reports. Now, the very, very, very important thing, I guess, the basic thing is understanding what QuickBooks can do for you and how it can take the information that you've inputted in there and use that data file and make so many different types of reports. Whether you're looking for reports on customers, reports on sales, reports on, your products that you sell, reports on how often your products ship in, reports on your specific how much you owe people, right? So because the great thing about QuickBooks is by you entering in all the data, QuickBooks is going to pull all that information and create the work for you. So you don't ever have to think about anything. All you need to determine is what kind of report that you want to look for. Like what are you trying to extract as part of your data, right? What kind of information from the data that you want to pull out in order to get a report on. And yes, and that's going to help you build your business. Now, there are two different types of reports that we have. Here it's going to be on page 164 that explains the two different types. So the first one is going to be accounting. So this is where we're going to be looking at our profit and loss, balance sheet, trial balance, the statement of cash flows, right? Forecasting, right? The general ledger, the trial balance. They put trial balance in here twice. Oh, okay. Well, anyways, so we've looked at that before, right? When we were in accounting, all we cared about was our accounting reports, right? Making sure that did our store make a profit and loss? Did we the purpose of us producing these types of accounting reports is to ensure the accuracy of our accounting, right? To understand that we have the underlying accounting equation, making sure that our assets do equal our liabilities and equity. The other different type of reports that we're going to be looking into, which is become more expansive when it comes into the different fields of accounting, is going to be our business management. Now, anything with business management, we'll look into our invoices, looking at our bills that we have, looking at our customers, right? Looking at our contact list, item list, all of those extra things, time, name, stock, anything like that, right? Any details, sales reports details by items, okay? So all of these are it's pretty straightforward, right? This has to do with anything and everything besides accounting. So when I say this, right? So sales, right? Sales is an example of your sales manager, right? As the accountant, do you care about the sales portion? No.
No.
That is your sales manager. Your sales manager is in charge of how well are you doing your sales, hiring the perfect sales representative, which product sells best, right? Which products we sell more of, right? So those kind of reports are geared towards other positions in the business field. All right. So by mentioning that, those are the two different types of reports that exist in QuickBooks. And because you guys have Premier, you guys are also looking at over 150 different types of industry specific. So because you guys you guys have Premier, meaning that you have the luxury to select a specific type of industry, such as like what kind of business your company belongs into, right? If you're a restaurant, you belong in the restaurant business. If you're a hair salon, you belong in the beauty industry, right? All of those industries that apply, right? Your reports are going to reflect how those type of industries would report their other reports. I just used reports 3 times in a sentence that made absolutely no sense. So the industry reports are basically going to be, they're taking the information and they're going to tailor it so it's reflecting of what typical people in the same industry would have produced their same exact reports. I don't know if that made it any better, but yes.
Yeah.
All right, so understanding the difference between cash and accrual basis. Yes, we understand that there is a difference, and we learned this in accounting, right? We understand that one is recognized when cash is received and when cash is actually available to spend. The other one, accrual, right? You record it the minute it is earned, and you record it the minute that it is incurred, the minute it happens, when the transaction happens, whether it involves money or not. It happens, right? So the great thing about this is with QuickBooks, you are easily able to toggle from cash to accrual basis in one easy step. So, and you can convert it at any given time. You don't need to select a specific time. You don't need to do it in the beginning of the period. You don't need to do it before you start your business. No. But if you are using QuickBooks in terms of for tax purposes, you need to choose one. Okay? To report, at least, to send it into to the IRS. But here we get to look at not only our reports, we can look at either cash or accrual basis. So that's what's really cool about that. And to be able to toggle that is going to be, so we're gonna go to our edit preferences. Okay. And then once we go here, we're gonna focus on our categories here on the left side. We're gonna go find reports. So I have payments, reports, and graphs, right? Here I have the option, okay, company, there you go. Here you have the option to choose between an accrual basis or a cash basis. So that means the reports that you create with the data that you have entered in previously, you can choose to either reflect it as an accrual basis or reflect it as a cash basis. So if the business is doing accrual, correct, then you're going to see a bunch of IOUs, a bunch of money that you owe, and a lot of this stuff is going to be recognized because it's recognized the minute it happens. Where cash, you actually get to see the real cash flow coming in and the real cash flow coming out. Because again, ultimately, you're doing your reports, right? If it's based on cash basis, you're going to actually see the real sales that you made and at the real sales that you collected cash for. Okay? So that's what's really cool about toggling between it. And I can toggle it anytime by just going to my edit preference, reports, and changing it here. All right? I'm going to keep mine accrual because, I'm just going to keep it at accrual. All right, so that's how you toggle between those two. So let's go ahead and explore the different types of reports that you can do. All right, so we're going to start with accounting reports. So for us, we learned that there are 4 specific financial statements. All right, can we do a quick review? What are the 4 financial statements?
Balance sheet, profit and loss,
Uh-huh.
income statement,
Okay, income statement and profit and loss is the same thing.
and, yeah,
Balance sheet,
balance sheet,
cash flows,
cash flows,
and what's the last one?
trial balance,
Trial balance is not a financial form or a financial statement.
ledger.
General ledger is not a financial report, a financial statement.
You have the balance sheet, the, statement of cash flows, you have the,
Profit and loss.
profit and loss, right.
You guys are missing one more. Profit and loss and income statement are the same thing.
Oh, right.
Right,
true,
right,
yeah,
okay,
that's right, that's account
so,
receivable.
equity?
Equity, yes.
the equity account.
Statement of equity. Yes,
That's the
okay.
profit and loss, right.
No, equity is not your profit and loss. It's definitely not your profit and loss. Your profit and loss determines whether you made money. Your equity determines what the value of the company is.
Exactly.
Okay, so in this case, as I can kind of sense because you read the book, yes, there's only 3 out of the 4 that we see in QuickBooks. Now, not that it doesn't exist, because what happens is your equity is actually combined with your balance sheet.
Okay.
Because again, the balance sheet's reflecting of your assets equals your liabilities plus your equity, right? So that's where you're going to find your statement of equity. It's combined within another statement.
Right.
But yes, so in QuickBooks, we only learned about 3 main accounting ones, which is your profit and loss. It's the same thing as your income statement, your statement of cash flows, and your balance sheet. Okay. All right, and again, profit and loss. There's actually a lot you could do with profit and loss. You could do profit and loss based on class, based on item, based on product. You could do profit and loss on almost anything. So this one I'm going to show you here is going to be based on class. You could also do a standard one. And let me see what the other one is. You can also do profit and loss by job. By job, we didn't look into job statistics because we have to dive that into chapter 9. But you do have the profit and loss based on a job. And then, yes. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look here. So we're going to go to reports. Okay, and you're going to go to accounting and financials. So that's going to be all the way at the bottom. Accounting and, accounting and taxes. All right. Here you're going to find your wait. I'm confused. Trial balance, journal. I don't see my. Oh, I'm sorry. Company and financials. It's at the top. Company company and financials. So I did get that confused. I'm sorry. I said accounting and taxes. It's actually company, or I said accounting and financials. It's actually company and financials. All right, company and financials, and boom. Here is the list of all of those three exact things that we're looking for: our profit and loss, balance sheet, and our statement of cash flows. So those are our main ones, right? So here we're going to be looking at our profit and loss. And here, like I said, you have a variety of what you can choose. You could do variety. You could just do a regular profit and loss. You could do a detailed one that tells you description of everything that is entailed with your profit and loss. You could do by class. Remember, we have separate locations, right? So you could compare which location is actually doing better. You can also do income by customers. Okay, so that's really cool. So let's go ahead and look at the regular profit and loss. Now, when we did profit and loss, there's nothing there because what date are we in? We're in 2020.
Yes.
We don't need 2020. We need all. I'm just gonna, oh, nope, all doesn't work. We're gonna do, let's do all and then change it from here. I'm in 2018 already. I'm going to make it from January 2019. All right? Boom. That is my profit and loss. This is, I changed the date again. I changed it to the future.
Oh,
September 2019, 18, 19. January 1st. Oh, nope. Oh,
That's only one day.
there you go. Okay. Here is my profit and loss for all transactions as of January 2019. All right. Now, how long did it take us to do our profit and loss in accounting?
oh, it would take a while.
Yes. Here, click of a button.
Wow.
Yep. Because the more,
Yeah, the behind the scenes takes codes onto or records everything.
exactly.
Wow.
We don't need to keep track of it, but it's also
Cost
good
of
to.
goods sold, everything.
So this keeps track of everything that we incurred to create our profit and loss. And again, at least you understand how to create the profit and loss, right? You're going to take all of your sales, you're going to counter them against your cost of goods sold, and then you're going to counter them all against your operating expenses to get your total final number of a profit or loss. Now, in this case, by us looking at here, we have a $3,000 profit. So we did good. This,
Yeah.
yep.
That's
Okay.
good.
Again, one click of a button. All right.
Wow.
All right.
It just makes doing those statements for the income, although this does the statements.
Yeah, there you go. Then this is exactly why.
It doesn't take as long. It's like, well, it's all in here.
Exactly. And this is why major corporations want to use applications like QuickBooks because it gives you quick results, hence the word QuickBooks, right? It makes your books a lot easier and a lot faster. And again, every year that QuickBooks comes out with something new, it just facilitates the transactions or what you want it to do a lot quicker. Now, by that, I want to show you the reports on the icon bar. Okay, I didn't talk about this yet, but here it is, the reports on the icon bar. Now, what you can find here in the reports on the icon bar is it's going to give you a little sneak peek of each report that you're looking for. So I'm going to open up this a little bigger. So same thing. I went to company financials. If I were to do a statement, a regular profit and loss, this is what it should look like. And here you could get a quick glance of, is this the right one or is that the right one? Is this the right one? And then you could keep scrolling down and you have the list beyond forth. So here's all your profit and losses. Here's your balance sheet, right? Oh, sorry, income statement. Here is your expenses. Okay. Here is your balance sheets, right? You get a quick glance of what they are. And on top of that, if you want to use this, so this is from the reports center, right, through your icon bar. Let's say I do want to produce a regular standard balance sheet. I can come here and I can toggle here. Well, when do I want to see this? I'm going to change this, right, by clicking here. I'm going to make it January of 2019. And I'm going to make the ending to be December 2019. So I only want to see for the year of 2018. All right. Oh, nope, not the first, the 31st. Okay. And then I could choose run the report, info, you want to like this, or help. In this case, I'm going to run the report. And by doing that, now I produced here, and it's got for as of December. Yep, done. This is everything that happened here, and this is my balance sheet. And if I look here very closely, my total assets, right? It's kind of hard to see this because my total assets is 51,244, right? And if I look at my bottom, that matches my total liabilities with my equity, right? Because QuickBooks allows you to enter in the piece of information, right? It also allows you, it does the double entry behind the scenes. So no matter what you're dealing with, it's going to match no matter what. Okay, so that's the great thing about QuickBooks. And then when we dive into chapter 9, we're going to be looking into a general journal, and it will not let you enter in a transaction if the debits and credits do not match. All right, so that's one thing that it prevents you to do is it prevents you to make your initial mistake in the very beginning. It stops you right there.
Good.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so that's how you do your balance sheet. And as you can expect, yes, that's how you do the rest of the reports. Same concept. It just depends on what you're looking for. Okay. Now make sure you read your book because it just gives a little description of each one, which you guys should already know by now the difference between the profit and loss, the balance sheet, and the statement of cash flows. Now, the other ones that I want you to be looking at is the general ledger. You guys are familiar with that? Yes? All right. We also can be able to produce this as well. So it's the same thing, except instead of going to what we did earlier, we went to accounting and taxes, and you'll find your general ledger here. All right. By clicking this, okay. Here is your general ledger. So basically, the ledger, right, is every single account with their current account balance. All done, simplified. And if you want to open it up, right here with a little drop down menu, come on. Come on. Come on. Okay, it won't let me. But yes, yes, you can toggle them. You can hide a few things if you don't want to see them. And there you go. All of the list of every single account with their associated account balances. All right. And then in here, you can see the difference between a main account and your sub account. All All right. So, yep, that's it. One click of a button. Pretty straightforward.
Wow.
Nothing too difficult here. Right? And, yeah. The trial balance, you guys are already familiar with that. With the trial balance, yes, we've done 3 of them already. This time, instead of actually compiling them, same thing, click of a button. All right. So you can also look at anything that you have voided or deleted in the past. Again, all of these are similar, if not most, they're all there. Now, those are the typical 6, 7, 5 different things that you would see as part of accounting. It's going to be dealing with, again, the 4 financial statements, which is we only learned 3, the trial balance, the general journal, and I think that's it for that one. Okay. Next section we're going to be looking at is going to be looking at our business management type of reports. So again, we've done this before, right? We've done by looking at the sales reports. So those are considered business management. We've also done that by looking up our customers' reports and things like that. Now, this one is going to be looking at lists and be able to do a customer phone contact list, okay? So this is also very helpful for us because it lets us know how many customers we actually have as far as part of our company, right? So for this one, we're going to go to our report center, select list. So let's go to that. So report center. Okay. And we're going to select list. Here you have your customers list, right? Customer contact. So you have your phone numbers here. You can have your addresses all here. Okay. You obviously, if you have customers, you're going to also have your vendor phone number list. You're also going to have your vendor address list, right? So it's great to know that you have your, the set people, right? You had the people who purchased from you, and you could contact them or, with the address, right? Instead of picking from one person at a time, right? You can print this out and give it to somebody and say, hey, I want you to send out mass promotional what do you call that? Advertisements? When you get those like little coupons in the mail?
Right.
That's exactly what you can use for the customers list there. Right?
Okay.
Here, I don't know what you could do for the vendors, but I guess you could keep track of your vendors this way too. Same thing with your employees. Maybe you have an employee party going on, right? You want to invite them. So you send them a nice personal letter in their mail saying, welcome to the company, or hello, we're hosting a annual 50th year anniversary and we would like to personally invite you. Anything like that, right? So you can also have your employees as well. Here is going to be other names. So other names could be either your bosses, the people who are higher ups. They're not technically your employees. They're actually your, your people. So yes, you can have a list for that as well. And then other lists here is you can do your list of accounts. So this is where, in case you need to find your chart of accounts, you can print it out right here.
Oh, okay.
Simple, right? You created your chart of accounts. Now you need a copy of it. Boom, come here. You got your list of chart of accounts.
Okay.
Same thing with your items list, right? I don't know how many products I sell. Boom. Print it all out in one list. All right. And then even for payroll items, right? What do you offer to your employees? You can make a list of all of them and see if you need more. So the great thing about this is that way you'll be able to look at, instead of looking at a screen for so long, you'd be able to detect or find if you have like the same exact account. You maybe need to clean them up. So X, Y, Z there. So that's that.
Okay.
All right, so we can go ahead and skip forward to this. You got your item list, which we just talked about. We got your check detail. Okay, we don't really need to. Yes, every report that you have in here is pretty straightforward. Okay, this book pretty much tells you where to find everything, and this book has over 100 different types of, you know, different types of reports that you can look at. Now the next one is going to be QuickBooks graphs. Okay, so here it even says it here. The best way to quickly get information from QuickBooks is to create a graph. What a beautiful sentence. But yes, so of course graphs make a great report, right? It sums up your details in a matter of seconds instead of having to read a whole page of numbers and stuff. It sums it up in a nice pie chart, a nice bar graph, whatever you want to choose, right? And in this case, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at a company's financials, and we're gonna be looking at an expense graph. Okay, so here we go to company financials, and we're just going to scroll down and then until we find our expense graphs. So here you go, expense graphs. Oh, this is income graphs. Where is my expense graphs? Here, expense graph, that's net. Did I miss it? Expense graphs? Company financials.
Income, here it is, income expense graph.
Oh, income and expense. Okay, so here. Oops. I just went ahead and just selected it. All right. There's nothing there because I forgot to toggle the date. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out and go back to my reports. And then this time I actually have to change the date for it. Okay, so income and expense graph is right here. We're going to change the date because there's no transactions that happened in 2020. So we're going to change this to reflect all the information from January 2029 all the way to December. Oopsies. Come on. December 31st. 2019. Okay, now I can go ahead and run a report. So here we get a nice bar graph of everything that happened throughout the year. Now, of course, in the beginning of January, remember we only had a few. For this specific photography academy, we're only looking at transactions that happened in January 2019 as well as February 2019. So in this case, it gives us a little reflection on what you can do. Okay, and it gives you here a little pie chart to say what has happened and where each one is. Now, again, we're looking at we're comparing our expenses to our income, and in this case, rent expense was a big chunk of our and typically you're gonna laugh at this because it's true. Rent expense can be very, very heavy, especially like the businesses out here right now in Vegas. Oh my God, believe it or not, it's $2,000 to rent out a small booth. $2,000. Now you need to work your butt off and stay open for 7 days a week in order to make up that money.
Wow.
To cover just only the rent expense. Every other cost that you have to incur, right? Electricity, water, air conditioning, and then on top of that, you have to buy your supplies. That's going to be extra things that you have to work with. So, yes, in this case, yes, about a good portion. It's 52% is due to rent expense. Cost of goods sold is your 39%, utilities office supplies, all of that. Okay, so all of those, it gives you percentages right there.
Mm.
All right, and that's how you do your graphs.
Mm.
And then, so with that, you can also, right? You can also change the way the graphs look. Okay, so I think I was supposed to only focus on January, but that's okay. We almost got the same exact image looking thing.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay. So, other things that you can do, you can actually manipulate or change of pieces of information on the pie chart. You can look at just one aspect if you need to. You can change the colors. There's a lot of things that you can do when it comes to this. So you could just double click that.
Mm-hmm.
Oop, 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 oop. There you go. And here it gives you a little more insight on this, a little more clearer view. Oh, I'm going to close out of this. I want to see my pie chart. Okay. It won't let me see my pie chart. That's okay. I don't. Yeah. Okay. And that's going to be under the customizing, building custom reports. So yes, you're able to change and look at that again, customizing your reports, right? That's going to be whether you want to create a report with your logo, with colors that are according to your company scheme. You could do all of that. Again, this is something you can definitely read on your own for. It's just building basically your report. Now, how do you get there is the question. So,
How do you what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
how do you get there is another question. So you can't just go out of nowhere and create a custom report. So for example, this one, right? If I want to create my custom report, at the very, very top of this bar, it says customize report.
Okay.
Straightforward and easy as it is, that's how you get there. All right?
Wow.
You can customize on what the appearance is. You can change the font and color of the thing. You can add, again, your company logo. You can change the way it looks. So here, again, this section here is, well, what kind of information do I want to display? If I don't want types in there, I can get rid of types. All right. Do I want terms? I'm going to say, yes, I want terms. Okay. Do I want payroll items? No. Okay, I don't know. I'm just messing around. So in this case, I want item numbers or transaction number. I want the transaction number. Okay. So that's what I'm going to be putting on this report here. Now the question is, it's going to say, do you want it in ascending order or you want it in descending order? In my case, I don't really care. I'm just going to leave it by default. And ascending to descending means, do you want the biggest number at the top or the smallest? Okay, you guys know that. All right, and then we can go into advanced settings. So advanced settings here is, cancel. So advanced settings, right? It's going to give you this little window here that tells you what options you have for the advanced settings. And I said I want for the current one, okay? I want all, and I want in use all, or you want it to just do a specific one. I'm going to click OK. And then here my window pops up. And now this is where you can have fun. You can have filters. You can change the headers. You can change the font. Okay, so here I want to change my header. All right, I want the header to have my company name. Yes, Academy Photography, right? And it gives you a little preview right here on what it's supposed to look like. All right. And yes, so I have a little picture preview of right here what it's supposed to look like. But let's say I want to change the font color. I'm going to change it to what's a nice font to use for my company name. Okay, make sure. So here, and it gives you an example. And let's say I want to change font, and I'm going to change it to, let's do a fancy font.
So these are the same kind of fonts that you have on Excel.
Okay.
Or Word, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I want that to be there, and I want to change. See, if I do it like this, it also applies it up here as well. And I want to change. I just realized I should have just changed the color here as well. So here it allows you to change the color. I want my color to be maroon, and I click OK. So here, do I want to apply the settings? Yes. Boom. So it changes it here, and I'm going to click OK. That's all I want to change as far as that, just the company title. But again, you can change on what information you want. You can change on how many filters you have. You can change your headings, like what do you want on there to appear, and the fonts and colors and numbers and stuff. So fonts here. All right. I'm going to go and pull this up and click OK. So there you go. It changes it. Now everything looks nice and red. And yes. And the great thing is, after I've applied this to this, let's say I do another report and I want it to apply the same exact heading. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to the top and I'm going to memorize report. All right. And by memorizing this report, I'm going to call it, so right now that says General Ledger Academy. Right? So I can go ahead and then the question is here, do you want to save it in Memorize Reports group, or do you want to save it or share this report template with others? And I'm going to share this report with others. I'm going to click OK. And if you heard that, that was a picture to let you know that this is going to be saved in your memorized reports. So, yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and click. I'm going to click not share. It's telling me to share to somebody. I'm going to click cancel. Okay, but yes, you can share this with other people. All right, and by memorizing the report, it's going to be there for good. So, let me see if you go to lists. If you go to lists and you go to memorize transactions list, you should have your memorized. You should have your report there. Okay, hold on. Let me go to it. Okay, so after you created your thing, you can memorize it, and let me see, memorize reports. And we named this one as was it trial balance, a general ledger, general ledger Academy, right? Yeah. All right, so from the report center, click, okay. So go to the report center here, and then you're going to go, at the very top, you got memorized. If you click that, your, the trial balance, the General Ledger Academy should be here. All right, so I'm in memorized. Okay. It should be under accounting, general ledger. So here's my general ledger, my balance sheet. Um, I just had it in here and I memorized it.
Yeah, you did.
Memorized. And it even says so in the book. That's where you go. It says right here. Go to your report center and click Memorized tab at the top of the window, okay? Notice that the QuickBooks displays the reports in groups of accordingly to how you memorized them, all right? Select the report that you just memorized, okay, by selecting the customers on the, okay, well, we didn't do the customers ones. We did the one for the general ledger, okay? And a general ledger is considered an accounting. It's not banking. It's not, oh, maybe let's check company. I got balance sheet, profit. I got statement of cash flows. Nope, it's not even under here.
Okay.
It should be under accountant because right here I see balance sheet, I see general ledger.
Right.
Okay, well, I can tell you, I am not crazy.
Saw it.
I know we saw it. We heard the. Oh, maybe it's is it under. Oh, okay, it's under categorized. Okay, here it is. Here it is. General, yeah, on general ledger memorize. Okay, and I'd be able to reproduce it by running a report. So I could do for 2020 if I were to run it. Again, same exact font at the top, and everything looks the same. Okay. All right. Whew. Okay. Okay. So that's how you do with customizing and memorizing your reports. The last one is going to be no, we don't need to do processing multiple reports. That one can be tricky, especially dealing with that. Printing reports is so easy.
Okay.
You have this, go to the very top, and you have print right here. Straightforward.
Oh, okay.
Straightforward.
Pretty.
Oh, that's save. Oh, I see.
Oh, no, oh yeah, yeah. So you can print, when you click print, you can either save it as a PDF or you can actually print it through the printer, right? You could save it. And here it is. It's going to give you the option to send it to the printer
Okay.
or save it as a file, okay? Straightforward. Next thing is, all right, next thing is finding transactions. You can definitely find transactions by using the previous or the find button. Here, using the find button is typically what you would have. Hold on, let me see this one. Finding transactions, man, you're going to spend years to try to find your transactions, but let's go ahead and take a look at this one. Okay, so we're going to be going into quick reports. Okay, so let's see, let's keep reading. Okay, by using quick reports or using quick zoom. All right, so the first one that we're going to be looking at is going to be our find button. Okay.
Where's your find button?
Where is it?
Where were you just now?
Oh, I'm in my book. I'm
Well,
reading.
we all are, but I mean, just
Yeah,
now.
what did you just click? Yeah.
Yeah, what did, like, blinked or something, didn't see where you put.
Yeah. For the
Using
find
the
button.
find button,
Yeah.
what did you do?
I'm gonna do that right now. I haven't started yet.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Okay, I missed it. Okay. All right, well, that,
Okay, so let's go ahead and do for an example, right? Oh, man, I clicked on my homepage. So, okay, for example, when you're entering a bill, it should pop up on entering a bill. Come on, enter a bill. You have the find button right here. Okay, so to find your transactions, you can go ahead and go back to see what was the last one that you just incurred, or you can go forward to the last thing that you've done. So here it says that I did a credit. This one says I wrote a bill. This one said I had a bill. This one also said I had a bill. So your find button to find your transactions is going to be appear here. Now this can appear either on your bills, on basically on anything that you're going to enter in your transaction for. So here, this was under my bills, right? If I go to create my invoices, I should have the same exact icon right here. So in case for this one, let's say I'm looking for an invoice, I can do that by going to the previous transaction, right?
Okay,
And
so
I can.
it depends on what kind of transaction.
It depends on what you're looking for. Yeah. It depends on what kind of transaction you're looking for.
Okay.
That one's straightforward. I mean, again, everything else is straightforward. This portion right here is just purely you just navigating, and exploring what you have in QuickBooks. So, again, all of this is very straightforward, especially the reports. You want a report? You just go to reports and look it through all of the reports that you can do. The best way to be able to find a report, let's say that you don't know what you're looking for, or let's say I want to find a specific report, but I don't know what it's called, or I'm not quite sure what it is. Just go to the report center. So if you go to your icon bar and you go to the report center, oops, I went too far. Reports center. Where am I? Income tracker, calendar. I was just there. I have feedback services, reports. Just by going here, again, it gives you a screenshot of what you're looking for, and you can go through each and every single one of these categories to look for what you are looking for. Okay, if you don't have an idea of what kind of report you want to be looking for, or you just looking for an idea, you just can go through every single item here and scroll here, and it will give you pretty much a little synopsis and a little screen picture viewing of that information. Okay, that's the best way you could do it that way. All right. No, I don't want to do that one. Okay, exporting reports. So again, we just got to see that you can export the file through PDF. You can export the files. Yeah, you can pretty much do PDF. You could do Excel. So that's the great thing about QuickBooks. It's Microsoft compatible. It's also Adobe friendly. So I have to give it to you guys. QuickBooks is pretty versatile. Okay, you can you can import things as well. So again, when we looked at printing out the reports, so for example, right, you can export this report. Right, you could export this report as a PDF. You could also export it using the whatchamacallit. What is this? You can also export it by using the file button and just go ahead and select what you want to do. You can send the forms. You can print the forms. Okay. And here you can also save it as a PDF if you want. You can print the report. I just said that. You can also save a company file, right? There's a lot of things you can do. And finally, we're at our review questions, and we are perfect on time because it is 4:21. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over these review questions. All right. Number 1, okay, so choose the best answer for the following. Number 1, what are the two major types of reports? in QuickBooks?
C.
C, yes. Accounting and business management. Correct. Number 2, use the customize reports button on any report to A, add or delete columns, or change the accounting basis of the report. B, you can use it to change the width and the columns of the reports. C, you can print the report on the bank on a blank paper. Or D, you can memorize the report or for future use.
Well, then maybe B, change the width columns on a report. You can
For
either delete or change the accounting, well, I'll go with B.
all right, we got B. What do you say, Lee?
I wanted to say D.
D.
Uh,
Now remember, we just looked at this. Remember, after customizing, right? The question is asking,
Yeah.
what can you do in customizing? D, right? We just learned this, right? We memorized our report, right? And that's what D is. That is when after you've customized it, you're gonna memorize it with the memorize reports button.
Okay, so is that what it's asking, or is it asking what you can do when you're in it, not
Yeah.
after?
Yes, this is when you're using the customized report. What can you do?
Oh, okay.
All right, so D is after you can
Yeah.
memorize
After
it.
you customize,
Yeah.
okay. Let's see, report button on any report to add or delete columns or change the accounting basis of the report. Well, that's customizing.
Yes.
It is. Changing the width of the columns on the report is too, but it does more than that. You can do more than just
Yeah.
that.
Now, did we test and actually verify that we can change the width of a column?
No, we didn't do that.
No. But what did we do?
We did change the accounting basis of the report.
Yes, we did. And we also added sections in the columns, right? I removed account type, and I added the transaction number.
Right,
Okay, so A is the correct answer.
Okay.
okay.
All right. Number 3, okay. You cannot create a quick report for A, customers, B, vendors, C, items, or D, what does that say? Incorrectly posted entries.
Entries, yeah.
Yeah, well, you can't
D.
do that, right?
Yeah,
D.
yeah, I'll go with D too.
D, yes. Yes, you cannot create any reports on that. Yes, you can do a quick report on customers, right? And we've looked at that before. And quick report for items, yes, we've looked at that already. Okay, number 4. To create a report that lists each of your vendors along with their addresses, okay? What else does it say? I'm having a difficult time, guys. Okay, along with their addresses and telephone numbers, information. Okay, in order to create that, what do you have to do? A, display the vendor's contact list. B, open the search window. C, customize the vendor's the vendor's database. Or D,
It's just, oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Yeah, it's just A, isn't it? It's
Yes.
display the vendor contact list.
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. Because I was looking at A and B, but yeah, A would be the best.
Okay, so remember, this is to create a report on the list of each of your vendor. Now, Can you open up a search bar with that? If you're trying to create, no, you can't because you're trying to create a report. All right, lastly, number 5. Okay. In order to analyze the profitability of your company, you should B is
Create a
Cor-
profit and loss report.
B is correct. Yes. Right? It's pretty straightforward. The name is in there. The purpose of creating a profit and loss report is to measure profitability.
Right.
All right.